What's up today, guys? So I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today I wanted to make a video talking about uh, my analysis on Facebook and am I buying Facebook after this huge decline they had after earnings, or am I not buying or thinking about shorting, whatnot. But first, before we get into that, I wanted to show you guys this quick little thing that I noticed on CNBC, right? Okay, so we all know that these news channels and stuff, they always try to put out things to be more negative than what they really may be, and they do that to get your emotions up and to get you more involved and more interactive and stuff into their their TV channels and news channels and stuff like that, and reports, whatever. And so this came across on my Facebook page. I mean, not on my Facebook page, on my YouTube, and I watched it. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, hold on, something's not adding up here. So let me show you guys this. All right, so first of all, the title is Facebook crashes 20%. And anytime you say crash, that just automatically gets people more like, oh my God, what's happening? It gets them more riled up, right? It's just like if you was to call somebody and be like, hey, I got into a car accident. They'll be like, oh, you okay? And be like, yeah, yeah, versus calling someone and saying, I got into a car crash. Then they're like, oh my God, like, you're not dead, are you? So that's already one thing right there. Now, I'm just going to skim through this because I just want you guys to pay attention to the price of the actual stock. Okay, so at the very beginning of this video, the price of Facebook stock was at 172. That's a 20% drop. That's about right.
Is
Now,
that this?
hold on. Now, let's just jump about halfway in. Yeah. Okay. Look, 165. Now, remember, this was the day that Facebook stock crashed, right? So they posted this on July 25th. Now, July 25th is when Facebook reported their earnings after hours. So, after hours, they posted this, and Facebook stock was at 165, right? All right, so now we can get off of that and we can jump into these charts because I want to show you on the day that Facebook stock dropped. Now, this says the 26th, but this bar includes the drop from the after hours and the trading day out of the 26th. So if you look here, look like right up in here when I get on this bar, the low was 173.75. Not not 165. Where did they get this 165 from? Now, if you jump ahead uh, to the 30th, which was 5 days after their reporting, the low of this bar which is the lowest it's been since they've reported earnings. The low of this is 166. 166. That's the very, very, very bottom down here. 166 was the low, and they have 165. What kind of shady mess do y'all got going on, CNBC? See how they play these games? That's why you gotta really be careful when you watching news. Period. Just that's why I don't even watch the news half the time. Like it. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so Facebook. Now, on the fundamental side, now see me, I like to jot down certain reasons why I'm buying a stock before I buy it. That way, if the stock does go lower, I can refer back to this and be like, hey, you know, remember why you're buying this. Don't get shooken out. Don't get weak hands. I do have strong reasons of why I buy my stocks. So, uh, things that I noted, just some quick things I noted. As far as fundamentals go, they got no debt on the balance sheet, $42 billion in cash. They are the largest social media. They own the largest social media platforms. So that's Facebook and Instagram. And then the ad rates are going to most likely increase in the future. I mean, you can listen to anybody talk about ad rates and how they're going to be going up in the future. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it, and a few other popular, you know, social media people and everything out there, they talk about it too. So that with the increase in ad rates, that's going to be an increase in revenue. Speaking of revenue, the revenue is grown 42% year over year. It's expected to slow down to about 20 to 30% because they plan on spending more money on security. And so, their clients and everybody that's on their social media platforms, they don't have to run into another situation like the Cambridge Analytica scenario. So, even though it's going to slow down to 20 or 30%, that's still really, really good. Anytime you get double-digit growth going on, I mean, it's still good. You can't really complain too much about that, right? Uh, Not only that, they have lots of potential to monetize Instagram and WhatsApp. So far on WhatsApp, they haven't even touched it yet as far as monetization goes. Instagram, they have very little bit of monetization going on Instagram, but in my thoughts, I really think that they're probably going to build up their Instagram kind of like another YouTube. Just like more of just a mobile YouTube basically. A lot of people, they sit in front of a computer, and a lot of people are using their phones to watch YouTube as well. But Instagram, I think, is going to be more of just a strictly mobile YouTube. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, those are pretty much the key points that I jotted down. So now let's move on to the technicals, because that's what I really like to look at. Alright, so as you can see from a weekly chart, and again, I'm using a weekly chart because I'm looking at this as more of a long-term investment, not something that I'm going to day trade or anything like that. So I'm planning to own this stock for some years out, and maybe even depending on, if we can get some gains going on in the next couple of months or so, then I may look to maybe sell out at the high, a retest of the highs or something like that. But so yeah, me personally, I have two brokerage accounts. One is I buy stocks for long-term holds, so maybe 5, 10 years out. Then my other one is more short-term, so just to lock in some gains on the way up and everything like that. And so I plan on buying Facebook stock in both accounts for the long term and for more of a swing trading type of scenario. So looking at this, let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so as you can see, Facebook stock has been on a just upwards tear for the past few years, since about 2012 or so. And through all these rallies, we have just very shallow pullbacks, like testing the moving average, and then it just pretty much just takes off, and it's been holding at the moving average, okay, to say the least. And so we haven't really been getting any real pullbacks to really jump in on this ride. You really just kind of had to just take what little bit of a pullback you got and just jump right in this thing. But back here, this was the Cambridge Analytica scenario, and I remember saying to myself, I should buy this stock. I should buy this stock. But I just wasn't convinced. I just wasn't convinced. And then when I seen the stock go all the way up to 200, over 200, I was like, dang. I knew I should have bought it. I knew I should have bought it. But thank God, well, if you own this stock and you bought in at 200 plus, it's probably not thank God for you. But, if you're looking at long term, don't worry. Just buy more. But for you people out there like me who didn't own Facebook and thought about buying Facebook back here but didn't pull the trigger, now you're presented with a second chance opportunity. So if you're gonna take it, you better take it. So now looking at this stock, clearly you can see that we are right within a previous zone, and I really like to buy within zones where we've had previous pullbacks in. So looking at that, that's one reason. That's one reason I'm looking at a buy. Now like that, we draw on our fib. Depending on where you want to draw your fib at, we have a 50% retracement right around here, and I think it probably breaks below the 618 on this one. Yeah, it breaks below the 618. Probably you could let me see. Probably could add in a 886. Okay, it's probably at the 782 then. So regardless, let me clean all this stuff off. I hate having too much stuff going on. Regardless, we do have some fib confluence. So what I'd be looking at right now is well, what I expect, because Mark Zuckerberg during his during the call, the earnings call, right? He was saying that there is going to be some slowing in the growth as far as the revenue goes and everything, and that's where I was getting the 20 to 30% growth. So he did mention there's going to be some slowing down in growth because they're going to be spending more money on security. So what I'm expecting right now is probably for like the next month or two, we're probably just going to see some consolidation between like the 160s and 180s. So right now, I have already bought in some shares at an average cost of 172. So I am looking to add on more shares if it drops down into like the mid 160s, or if I can even get just like right around 160, then that'll be great too. But yeah, I just think there's probably just going to be some consolidation until investors kind of can wrap their head around what's going on with Facebook, and they can kind of regain more of a long-term vision for Facebook. Because I think this massive drop right here was just way too short-term, and it was way too hyped. Way too much panic selling. So I definitely think that there is a possibility that we can get a retest of these highs in the next maybe 6 months or so, and then in the long term we can continue to see this rally higher, as long as we don't have anything going on in the actual overall market itself, such as trade wars and stuff like that going on. But uh, yeah, that's about it. That's my spiel on Facebook stock. So feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you think. Are you buying Facebook stock? Are you not buying Facebook stock, and why or why not? Just start a little conversation, trying to get some user engagement going on, right? Because that's what you do on YouTube. Yeah. So leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.